So please feel free to encourage a family member, a friend to join our YouTube session. We'd love to get their feedback as well. All right, so you were seeing a video. Let's disconnect that, right. So you were seeing a video just now, and we're gonna run through it one more time for everybody to benefit from it. We want our audience on YouTube to benefit from it as well. So stay tuned and let's see what this video has to do with our discussion for this morning, which promises to be a brief, packed, fun, engaging this discussion. So we really want you to share in the conversation. All right. So enjoy. It's less than 2 minutes.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. 22,500 times longer than you. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter. Or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you, and I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they all can take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me. One way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you?
So nature is prepared to evolve. Are you? Well, welcome to NEPA Connects and happy Friday yet again. We are so excited to have you all with us. As mentioned, we have an engaging program lined up and it is Friday morning. So we thank you for your Friday morning. We will not keep you too long and we want our discussion to be light, fun, and engaging. Today we're talking about flora. You call them trees. Mother Nature or nature has boldly said to us that she can make our lives easier or she can make our lives harder. It's really up to us. Are we prepared to adapt? Well, the fact that you're here today, it says something. It says that you're interested in seeing how you can play a role, your role in adapting to Mother Nature. Because of course, we don't want to be on the wrong side of Mother Nature. Today, we're talking about the Sustainable Development Goal number 15, planting trees for improved life on land. Now, what are the Sustainable Development Goals? Many of you might be familiar with them. These are 17 goals. And the purpose of these 17 goals are to help us around the world in our respective countries, whether poor, rich, or middle income country, to promote prosperity while protecting the planet. So you see the connection with the video? Now, today we are looking specifically at SDG 15, and that one talks about life on land. What's the significance of SDG 15? Why have we invited you here on your Friday morning? Well, you see, SDG 15 talks about how we sustainably manage our forests, how we combat desertification, how we halt and reverse land degradation, and how we overall halt biodiversity loss. So some of those elements are going to come out in our discussion today. Our presenters are going to bring out some of those elements. You, along with your questions, are going to bring out the other elements. We're very confident that you're going to ask some questions today. So SDG 15, life on land. Here are some reminders. We are recording this session. We want you to share your comments in the chat. So if you're joining us, well, because you're joining us, some of you on Zoom, feel free to share your comments in the Zoom chat. For the rest of those joining us on YouTube, please share your comments in the chat on YouTube. We're going to be going around and getting to those questions, and we'll try our best to answer them today. Let's introduce our presenters. You're seeing them on screen. We have David Reed, and David is our coordinator for Watersheds Information Systems here at NEPA. So he's very much the watershed man. And we have Stephen Williams, a forest technician. Did you know that Jamaica has forest technicians? Well, today you found out, right? Stephen is a forest technician with the Forestry department. And when I tell you Stephen is hands-on, believe me, you are going to hear just how hands-on Stephen is a little later on in our discussion. Okay, so these two gentlemen are going to be sharing some interesting facts with us. And we have a few questions for them. As mentioned, we want you to ask them the other questions. David, Stephen, welcome. Please go ahead and unmute so we can hear your voices today.
Good morning, everyone. Am I coming across loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Stephen, and welcome. And David, we love your background. Your background, of course, is celebrating the 20 years of NEPA because we're still in our 20th anniversary year. So we love your background. NEPA is 20 years this year. So great, very nice. So David, Stephen, welcome. Today in our discussion, we want to bring out some key points. We want to talk about watersheds, particularly the flora aspect of watersheds. And we want to talk about the role of tree planting, Stephen, as we work towards SDG 15. All right, gentlemen, so we know you're going to bring those points across. Here's our first question. David, tell us about watershed management units. We hear the term. How many of these units do we have in Jamaica?
Okay, so we have 26 watershed management units. That's what the island is divided into for ease of management. Within these units, you're going to have what is called subbasins. So a lot of persons will be familiar with their own region and they wonder, so I have a river, a stream in my area. So why isn't the watershed management unit named after my stream? They're named after the major rivers that flow through that the management unit. All parishes are covered, some overlap. So they are named for ease of management. We also work closely with the Water Resources Authority, but they utilize the subbasins because they are primarily responsible for water harvesting and licensing and distribution. And we are responsible for maintaining cover type along with the Forestry department, who will have jurisdiction over the forest reserves.
Now, what role does flora play in our watersheds?
Now, flora is the term utilized for or stated for plants. So we as Jamaicans like to just call things bush. We do respect trees. We respect trees that give us food more so than the one that give us, well, food and timber, more so than the one that give us the additional ecosystem services. And that ecosystem that we're talking about is in various parts will be either from your mangrove system, which is still flora. We go across to our savanna type system, which are grasslands, and we get into our higher land elevations where we're going to have major trees. Shrubs play a major part of that. So we want to have this balance where the biodiversity or birds or insects are all in harmony. So if we start to remove that flora, and again, no, it's not bush, it's from your shrubs right to your trees. So every plant you see right there has a role. From our herbs, which is the smaller ones on the ground cover, our grass, or shrubs, which goes about maybe 5-6 feet, and our massive trees. So these are all important to keep the watershed intact so that we can have those ecosystem services. And those services include having water, having clean air, because they are the lungs of the planet. Or watersheds are basically lungs. They absorb that carbon dioxide and they push out oxygen. And they will be responsible also for ensuring that we have adequate fresh water through our systems. So you can see the linkages here. If we start to destroy those through clear cutting, fires, removal of tree cover type, and also other shrubs, then we're now breaking that cycle and interrupting that balance, that harmony with nature. We've got to try our best to live in harmony with nature.
So, David, we've heard the term when referring to our iguanas as more than 2 little lizards. So truly our watersheds more than little bush, right?
More than little bush, and I'll give you something else on that, Travis. Those 2 little lizards are now over 500 that we have here at NEPA, our iguana recovery program, have a head start and we've released. Now, those same iguanas are crucial and critical for that forest maintenance. Let me tell the people how. They sit in the forest reserve. Now, when they eat the fruits, the seeds pass through their guts, and that is necessary for germination of certain fruits that they rely on also. And those fruits will germinate faster when passing through the guts of the iguana, and it sits in their scat. Scat is poop, sits in their feces, and it needs that to germinate. Those are native trees, and it sits on a coastal limestone. We have one of the largest coastal limestone forests in the region. A lot of Jamaicans didn't know that, and that limestone forest is what the iguanas rely upon because they are ground-dwelling animals. So they rely upon that for their sustenance and to survive. We also have ponies out there also, by the way.
Yeah, man. You're so right. As you mentioned, David, forest, limestone forest, and this is where we're going to invite Stephen to jump in. Stephen, what's the mandate of the forestry department in Jamaica? For those who are not so clear.
Well, the Forestry Department is an executive agency charged with managing and protecting Jamaica's forest reserves, right? We are currently 40% forested. That's approximately over 400,000 hectares. And out of that 400,000 hectares, we manage approximately 117,000 hectares. That's just 20%. So you know that we need to do a little bit more work. Because of this now, we realize that most of the lands are privately owned. That's around over 300,000 hectares, right? So we engage with private landowners and get them on board to sign up on what we have, the private forestry program or private planting program, in an effort to plant more trees on their land. We also carry out ongoing planting projects. So we locate bare hillsides and so forth and carry out planting projects on them. We also, to get more people involved, we carry out public education, because to properly manage First, you have to know what you're managing, right? I'm sure you will agree with me. So we carry public communications with schools, so we carry expos, presentations, and we liaise with community members that are community groups that are in close proximity to forest reserves or forested areas.
That's the mandate, Stephen, right? Now, you said 20% of our forests are managed. What about the 80%?
Those are privately owned. So we work with private landowners. So we work alongside with them, get them signed up on what we call the private forestry program, like I mentioned earlier, to get them free timber seedlings. Now, once you have quarter-acre land or more, you will receive free timber seedlings from the forestry department. You get technical advice, free of course, and you'll be assisting us in reforesting Jamaica.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, I want to pose a question to both of you, both David and Stephen. Stephen, since you can continue. Challenges, gentlemen, challenges. What are some of the challenges facing our watersheds? What are some of the challenges facing our forests in Jamaica? Stephen, you want to take that first?
Okay, Steve,
I'll go ahead. Take that first, don't worry.
Okay, one of the major challenges we have here is level of deforestation. And it's not as fair as what you see with Brazil when there's that massive deforestation taking place on the Amazon jungle. But I mean, what we're looking here is pockets. So we get this a lot from agriculture, subsistence farming practices, and they normally will be doing slash and burn. Now that slash and burn contributes to removal of trees. That cover type is necessary. Trees, shrubs, the herbs. So the cover type is necessary to keep our soil structure and to keep our hillsides from eroding. A lot of times, especially during the drier season parts of the year, those fires get out of control. So someone who is doing slash and burn, someone is out in their and they start to cook, and sparks take place and fire get out of control. The area, and we have massive hillsides now being destroyed by fire. So you can imagine what's going to happen to our ecosystem right there. Trees are important, tree cover is great, but we're going to lose our fauna, which is the animal component of it also, which is necessary, like I said before, to maintain that harmony, that balance. So while agriculture practices or poor practices are a part of it, we also lose through mining operations. Sometimes we're going to have mining operations that are approved, but we may not have the closure plans. That is, when an operation is closing down their practices, they ought to restore the land to an agreed level of reforestation. So some of these, you will see quarries that don't have the benches necessary to allow for reestablishment of trees and other plant species along those. You just get an ugly scarification going on. We also lose that through natural erosion. We have to remember that we live on an island that was created out of volcanics. Our geology is different in different locations. Wherever we have shale and the volcanics, especially in the eastern side of the island, we're going to have natural erosion. So we'll have years of or long drought periods, and then we get this torrential rainfall. You're going to have some land slippage. So natural occurrences do happen. Hurricane events will damage our trees. Hopefully we'll have natural recruitment, which is the fast we're growing up these trees. But if we have periods of those dry drought activities that are taking place naturally, this is where we're going to get the problem. So that will lead us into another area that we need to pay attention to, which is what Stephen had mentioned before. Having those private landowners being a part of the reforestation programs, maintaining and keeping their lands in cover. And when I say cover, not just trees alone, like I keep saying. So the trees are more important because not more important. They all have their various importance because of the root systems. Some trees will have a taproot, which is what goes straight down. Some trees will have more like a buttress root or a wider root system that holds the soil. But we need that mat in that grass system or in that shrub system, the other lower plants and height, to keep their root system, which is just on the surface now, and they're also holding that soil. Leaf litter is an important thing. So when you get a 12 forest and you see a lot of leaf litter, you know your soil content is gonna be great for growth. When you have, well, depends on the elevation you're at and the type of forest structure you have or cover type you have, because they all require different levels of nutrients, moisture, soil conditioning. These are things that the forest structure will. So you light a fire, you destroy all the nutrients on the ground tip. But a lot of farmers, they like to reap. Did you know that a lot of persons who do reaping of wild yam, that's how they get it out? They just light a fire. So they don't have to clear through to go and reap yam. And also pest control. If they have cattle around and they want to clear for ticks, they just light a fire. It's something that we work with RADA also to reduce through our, what Steve and I mentioned before, outreach programs where we have farmer training programs to teach the best practices. So NEPA is involved with that. We work with RADA, Forestry Department, and also doing the replanting of regions on private lands also. So we are part of the process and we rely heavily on our partners.
Thank you so much, David. So the challenges are quite a bit, right? But let's talk solutions, because that's why our guests are here today. And that's why we wanted to have this session. What practical steps? So you mentioned, just now you mentioned that we work with the Forestry Department. What practical steps has the agency taken to improve the quality of our plant species in our watersheds?
Okay, we have and are continuing to develop management plans for specific species. Those are the ones that we recognize that are being harvested from the forest. In particular, we have now rolling out the orchid management plan. Now, orchids are something that a lot of Jamaicans like to have in their homes. So when you see that man on the street just walking with boxes and boxes of orchids, those are wild harvested. Some are very common, and then you will have some of those orchids that are rare. Now, we tend to try and manage for the recovery program for orchids right now is within the forest reserve, where there's a more control of an area because the forest rangers over there patrolling the area. So we're doing that to recover some of the species that are on the IUCN probably listing as endangered or so, but we also have to maintain through education or control the harvesting of plants in our forest reserve, our forest areas, not just in the reserves, just right across the forested areas. So management plans, that's some of the approaches. We also do, like I mentioned before, farmer field school training, which has best practice in those, including limited or removing the use of agrochemicals. So we go more natural. We'll utilize more natural ingredients for getting the nutrients that the plants would need. We also encourage not wide-scale clearance, but work with a smaller area. We do crop rotation from the RADA side. So based on those agricultural practices from there, and we encourage those. We also encourage the increase in cover type. So we will do a mixed cover type in terms of the food forest. So the hardwood will be in there on their lands. Those are also donated from forestry. Then we can purchase, NEPA would purchase and augment that covered establishment with fruit trees. So you give the farmer incentive to maintain that cover type. And again, now the knowledge and the technical knowledge come from the other agencies in terms of spacing those trees, what crops will grow best. So some crops prefer sunlight, some crops will grow good in shaded areas. So in having this kind of approach, a farmer or someone who's utilizing the land now will recognize and realize the importance of these. And also it attracts the bees, the pollinators. It attracts birds that remove insects from your area. So if you have a nice open field and you're planting, and you may be getting a lot of pests here. But if you're put the right combination of cover, which are our flora. You put the right combination, you will get the ecosystem service that you require for your region and your farm property. We also encourage before clearance that developers will come into the agency through our Development Assistance Center, the DAC, to inquire about a particular development. So, like I said before, cover type is not just in the hilly regions. We work right across because our watershed management units are from the ridge right down to the sea. So the top of the mountain all the way to the sea. So we include the mangrove areas. So if you're doing a development, we encourage developers to come in to get guidance, because there will be trees that are significant for retention, and also through the establishment of a plan for reintroducing species that you have cleared or maintaining or remove those for replanting somewhere else. So you just don't clear and then put in non-native alone. So we encourage native trees, and we also recognize that persons, when they're doing development, will want to have the palm trees and the one that looks so tourist-like, island setting. So those are some of the programs that we have going here at NEPA.
Thank you so much. All right, so Stephen, we're ready for you now, because David highlighted quite a few solutions that we're working on. But on the Forestry Department side, tree planting, National Tree Planting Initiative. Talk to us about the National Tree Planting Initiative, Stephen, and how this initiative contributes to SDG 15, improve life on land. What's the connection? What's happening with the tree planting initiative? How can we get involved? Round that up for us.
Okay, so the National Tree Planting Initiative was launched on National Tree Planting Day on October 2019. It's a 3-year initiative, right? It's also known as the 3 million trees in 3 years, where every tree planted represents a Jamaican, right? It was launched in the efforts of reforesting Jamaica's lands and increasing forest cover. 2 million of those trees are designated for forest areas and bare lands, and that is the rural areas, okay? And the remaining 1 million is designated for urban spaces. Those are your churches, your schools, residential areas, all right? How you yourself can get involved, we have ongoing distribution to encourage the public to plant trees. So you can come at any of our branches in island-wide to receive free ornamental and timber seedlings, right? You can get up to 10 free seedlings. We also have what we call the My Tree Legacy Initiative, where individuals are encouraged to contact their alma maters, the schools that they've graduated from, whether it be primary or high school, to carry out tree planting projects on the campus, all right? So it was a collaborative effort between us and the public to replant Jamaica. How this contributes, sorry about that, how this contributes to the sustainable development goals now. Especially number 15, life on land. It speaks to nature and how important nature is, because nature can survive without us, we can survive without nature, as the video so blatantly showed us earlier, right? With us increasing forest cover, we're basically, we are ensuring that we have clean air, as well as we have increased quality of water and quantity. And we are also securing our food resources, right? Because trees are the life center for all of us. Without trees, we can't really survive. They act as natural buffers, right? Without trees, we would actually be suffering from hurricanes, storm surges, etc. All right, so with this initiative in increasing forest cover, we're securing our life now and for future.
Stephen, thank you so much. Especially because of the practical things that you highlighted. I'm gonna pick out one, before we go to a commercial break. All right. So NEPA Connects, you're tuned into NEPA Connects. We're talking to David Reed, our coordinator, Watersheds Information Systems here at NEPA, and Stephen Williams, forest technician with the Forestry Department. And we're talking Sustainable Development Goal number 15, life on land. And we're planting trees for improved life on land. Now, Stephen, the remind me of the name, My Tree Legacy.
Legacy. Yeah.
My Tree Legacy. All right, Stephen, listen to this now. So many times when we leave rural Jamaica and we come to Kingston and we start life, we get the idea that we want to give back to our communities. And we love our basic school, and we love our primary school, and we love our high school in rural Jamaica, right? So we get the idea that we want to give back. But sometimes, Stephen, we reason that we don't have the money. So we think that we need to purchase some furniture. We need to purchase some electronic devices, probably a few tablets, probably a few laptops. And we need to go down there, we need to hand these over to the schools. And those are lovely ideas. But what you're saying is through the My Tree Legacy project or initiative from the Forestry Department, we can contact the Forestry Department, we can contact the school, and we can make an arrangement to go back home to our basic school, primary school, or high school that we love so much and miss so much, and we can plant some trees. That's what you're saying to us.
Definitely, yes.
And what you're saying is we can get those trees for free.
Yes, you can.
No, that's the language that we're talking.
And up to 10, you heard that one, up to 10.
Up to 10 trees for free, okay? So
Well, for the My Tree Legacy, what we ask you to do is provide for us a proper maintenance plan. So we work along with you in caring and offering technical advice for you to manage the trees that you're getting. So it won't necessarily be 10 plants, but what the school grounds can accommodate, right? The 10 free plants now is for the individuals, right? So each individual in Jamaica can go to one of our branches, island-wide, and get up to 10 free timber or ornamental seedling. Reminder that the fruit trees, if you're interested, are on sale. For the My Tree Legacy now, you can get based on what the school grounds may accommodate.
thank you. To everyone listening, Zoom, YouTube, here's the challenge. Think about your school that you love so much. Contact the Forestry Department and get some trees. Here's a secret. You see, if you contact your basic school, and probably Stephen, you can tell us more about this. If you contact your basic school, and if you remember when you were in basic school, teachers made some of these things a little class exercise. So if you plan, a part of your management plan is for the regular watering and maintenance of these trees. Teachers will get very creative. All they need to do is tell these students that it is outside time, and they get their bottle of water and they go and water a tree. And believe me, in school, you would never know that this was work that you were doing, watering a plant, because it's outside time. And you get to run outside, you grab a bottle of water, and you go and you plant, you water a tree with your friends. Stephen, true or false?
That's true.
So we can contribute to our communities. We can contribute to our communities. David, go ahead and unmute. We can contribute to our communities by planting trees. And that's something exciting. All right, now, as we said, we have a quick commercial break. Natasha Parchment Clark is going to bring us greetings from Western Jamaica, and she's going to tell us about an initiative, the Adopt a Plant JA initiative. Natasha, you want to tell us about that? Go right ahead and unmute, Natasha.
Thank you for giving me my unmuting privileges. Morning from Montego Bay. What a fantastic morning. Gentlemen, David and Stephen, thank you so much for all the just fascinating information and what we're doing, what we're not doing. It's wonderful. I love the Maitri legacy. And what I think I love a little bit more is the Adopt a Plant JA program, which across this side of the island in Montego Bay, we're working with schools, high schools, to get these trees planted. Name that little tree, water that little tree, let it grow. When you come back in 5 years after you've graduated from college, you see your high school, you know, with all the trees that you've planted. So we have a program through NEPA. So I'm the ambassador for that here in the West. And we're really, today, in fact, trees are making their way across the land to Forestry department here in Montego Bay for me to collect. And we're spreading them out through the Interact and Rotaract clubs in high schools, colleges, and in the community. So by this weekend, we will be adding to the 3 million somehow and getting these plants in. It's really exciting. And having NEPA and Forestry, you know, just showing, you know, yes, we love the liquor-free list, but it's a plant and that we can put them out there. It's not cost. It's something you can do in a school club. You know, it's something you can do in your communities. Is really exciting. So thank you so much for all your information. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you, Natasha. Now, Natasha, it's very interesting because your company, your training company is actually called, what's the name of your company, Natasha?
Training Tree.
Training Tree. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Natasha. All right, so you heard it there, and let's show you. So we're going to tell, but we're also going to show you. Here is a little bit about our Adopt a Plant JA initiative. And as Natasha said, it's something that we definitely want you to get involved with. We definitely want you to get involved with. This initiative, this campaign was launched October 4th. It was launched in tandem with National Tree Planting Day. And the Forestry Department has come on board to help us take this across Jamaica. You see the theme? Plant trees, restore ecosystems, and renew our communities. Here's how you all can get involved. And remember, you know, we really want you all to get involved. So what you can do is you can adopt a plant. Now, what's involved in adopting this plant? Give me 1 second. Let's share the rest with you.
Travis, can I inject?
Hold on there, Dave. 1 second. So you can adopt a plant, okay? Now, you collect your seedling from the Forestry Department. You sign up for the campaign. So you tell them that you want to be a part of Adopt a Plant JA. You go home and you plant that seedling. Here's the fun part. You're going to name your plant. Because remember, it's Adopt a Plant JA. You're going to name your plant. You're going to become a plant mom or a plant dad or a plant grandfather, whatever you want it to be. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to share your photos with us on our channels. So our social media. What does that mean? If you are on Twitter, you're going to share the photo to Twitter and you're going to tag at NEPA Jamaica. And you're going to put in, Natasha telling us plant auntie and plant uncle, all of those things. You're going to put in at NEPA Jamaica and you make a nice creative post about your plant. Why do we want you to do this? Well, we want you to be a part of the National Tree Planting Initiative, but we also want you to enter for a chance to win $10,000. So we'll be having 3 winners. across our channels. Twitter, 10,000. Facebook, 10,000. Instagram, 10,000. So 3 winners, right? And all you have to do is be a plant dad, plant mom, adopt a plant. So you're gonna plant the plant, you're gonna tag us in the post, make a creative post. It could be you telling us how you're going to take care of it. It could be you telling us where in your house you're going to put it, how much sunlight you're going to give it. It could be a photo or a video of you planting the actual plant. So however creative you want to get, we won't stop you. And we want you to tag your followers in the post so that they can like and share your creative post, because we want everybody to share in the fun. $10,000 could be yours just for you planting something. Okay? Now, for those who are worried that you live in an area where you can't plant up outside, the forestry department also has potted plants available. And Stephen can tell you all about that. So here is where you can collect your plants. The forestry department has nurseries in Kingston here, Constant Spring Road, in Williamsfield, Manchester, and in Monigue, St. Anne. So lots of options for you to collect the plants. If you are in another area and you want us to get the plants to you, reach out to us on social media. Send us a message, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and tell us how many plants you want, where you want them to be, and we'll try our best to get those to you. So you collect your plant, well, you sign up, you plant, you name your plant, and you share the photos with us. Okay, now, is this harder? Is this harder said than done? Well, Stephen can tell you. I know him outside of this forum. Since moving to a new community over a year ago, Stephen has contributed about 60 plants to me and my wife for our community development, and we've planted and planted and planted. So imagine that, 60 plants, okay? And so we have planted up our community just because we want it to look greener. So you too can definitely get involved. So we're coming to the end of our session. And so we're going to take some final comments from David. David, you had a point, and Stephen, going to take some final comments from you as well before we close off our NEPA Connects for today. David, please go ahead and go first. Unmute.
Okay. Well, the point I was going to say now as a part of the wrapping up session is that we need to get back to our roots and our tradition. I don't know how many of us will be able to identify that our forefathers used to do a thing called planting the children's navel string at a tree. They would plant a tree, the navel string is there, and that is a normally fruit tree, and that tree belongs to that child. So while the initiative is great for kick-starting another generation or sets of generation coming forward in recognizing the importance of trees, it's part of our heritage that we used to do. So I would encourage everyone to continue along the same path, look back at our roots, where we're coming from, and going forward, try and encourage everyone to plant a tree, because it brings so much more to the table, so to speak, or to life. Greenery is relaxing. Your mental health is important. So if you have a shaded area where you can go sit and read a book, just sit and look at other people passing by, or just sit and look at the clouds, it's improving your mental health state. And in this day and age, we need it. So plant more trees. Stephen?
Completely agree with you. Stephen, final words from you?
Okay, my final words are, the forestry department is forever committed to reforesting Jamaica. And remember, this is a collaborative effort. It can't be left to us alone. We are here to help you, to help us reforest Jamaica. Reminder to just follow us on our social media platforms on Instagram and on Facebook. Visit our website, find out every way in which you can play your part in planting a tree towards the National Tree Planting Initiative. We have information on it on our website. And just remember, as David said, greenery is important. Just having a tree in your yard can just lighten your whole mood. Just planting a tree overall is relaxing. So play your part in the National Tree Planting Initiative.
Beautifully said, Stephen. Play your part. So we know what we need to do. Let's individually do it. So as we wrap up, we've shared an evaluation form. It's just a short little evaluation form. And we're asking you to just click on that link and click, and complete that for us. We're going to take any questions that we have now. We have one here. Are the potted plants free? Stephen?
No, they're not free. They come at a cost depending on pot size. We have mulberry and fig and desert rose, just to name a few potted plants that we have. We also have palms. Information is available on our social medias and on our website.
Excellent. Now, what are the starting prices? Somebody wants to know. Like, what are the starting prices for the plants that are not free?
The starting price is from $1,000.
Yeah. But the fruit trees, what are the prices like for the fruit trees?
$350, just $350. That's a great deal, right? You can come at our head office, that's at 173 Constant Spring Road, or you can visit the ones in Monique or Williamsfield. It's the same price, okay?
Yeah, and I can really attest to that. It doesn't break the bank at all. I was able to get soursop, sweet sop, pimento from Stephen, and from time to time they have different types of fruit trees. So definitely contact them for the tree that you're interested in. Tell them you want to participate in the Adopt a Plant JA campaign by NEPA, or if that's too long, tell them you sign up for the NEPA campaign, right? Now, we want you to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we want you to be aware of all of these initiatives that we will be having. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you're following us on social media, or you're going to miss out on things like these. And we don't want you to miss out. You see, you almost missed out on the My Tree Legacy today. If you weren't here, you probably wouldn't have heard about it. So it's because you're here that you now know that you can give back to your schools, wherever you're from, a gift of a tree. And as said, the trees, the lungs of Jamaica. So you can give breathing life to your community back home. One final question before we wrap. Are there any plans for more nursery locations in the future? So that's a question to Forestry Department. Are you able to answer that at this time, Stephen? More locations?
Currently, we're working with Texaco to distribute seedlings at the various branches. This is posted on our social media platform, so you can always stay tuned. But in terms of the nurseries, no, I can't really mention of that. Okay,
but you do have regional offices. You do have regional offices that sometimes have plants available for collection. And to know when persons can collect from your regional offices, you have in Portland, you have in Montego Bay. Follow you on social media, and that's how persons can get that information. On social media, it's Forestry Department, JA. So make sure you're following at NEPA Jamaica across our social media channels, and make sure you're following at Forestry Department, JA across social media as well. Thank you all for joining us. David, did you have one final comment?
A suggestion that people can also support other nurseries. There are private nurseries. For those who can, there is Food for the Poor that you can maybe have to source plants through also. But there is an organization out in Maypen. I do believe it's located at Denby. It's called Trees That Feed. They mainly provide breadfruit trees. And we know how we love our breadfruit. It goes well with your ackee and saltfish. It goes well with anything else you want. So they are located on the Denby Showgrounds, if my memory is certainly correct. But if not, they can always be found online, Trees That Feed the Nation.
Thank you very much, David.
Those are free.
Those are free. Again,
Yes.
the language we love to speak. Thank you so much, David. Thank you all to our guests. We have one final request of you. Don't leave our session until you've completed that evaluation form. So click on the link, open it in a tab, and after you log off, you go through and just send that off to us, because we really want to keep giving you sessions like these that spread awareness. Today, we talked with David Reed, Coordinator Watersheds Information Systems here at NEPA. We also spoke to Stephen Williams, Forest Technician at the Forestry Department. What was our topic? Sustainable Development Goal number 15, planting trees for improved life on land. So you can be a part of sustainably managing forests, combating desertification, and halting biodiversity loss. Mother Nature would love your help. So please have a share in the work. Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome Friday. Happy Friday again. And we look forward to you keeping in touch with us on social media. Bye-bye.